Thank you for coming and having us here in Soho House. It's such a nice place. Thank
Beautiful
you.
loft as well. It's
Yeah,
really nice.
yeah. Amazing to be here with you. Thanks you for coming. And yeah, we would like to simply start with this our form from past, present, and future. Who is Joseph Capriati?
Joseph Capriati, he's a dreamer. He's a dreamer. I love to call me myself like this. You know, um, always been dreaming. I dream every day together with music and about so many other things in life. I dream about love, I dream about peace, friendship, but you know, many things. But definitely music is my way to get my dream bigger and bigger. And it's my life reason. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very passionate thing, and like you start very early. It was like when you were 11, right? And yeah, how come? Like,
Yeah, I'm still that 11 years old guy, you know, like the boy that was walking from my parents' house to the square where we were playing football normally, like 200 meters from my house. And in front of our house, there was this park where these buildings where American people were living. So in Napoli, it's about 30 minutes from my parents' house, there was this US Navy military base. And there were families from America coming to live in Italy, in that area, for a few years, you know. So that building in front of my house is where these American families were living. They were staying like 4 or 5 years, and new people were coming. So I grew up with American people, and you know, I got influenced by their culture a lot. I didn't speak English that time, but we tried to understand each other. And during this day, it was 4th of July of 1998, the day, the Independence Day. So I just, like a normal day in the evening of summer, I was walking to the square to play football. And I saw there was the main entrance of this park, in front of the gate. I saw something not common because I was like, what is happening there? So there were like about 40, 50 people dancing around. It was about 8 in the evening, 7 in the evening, something like that. It was this, you know, this kind of Volkswagen, like hippie,
yeah,
you know,
the
van
the, the
from the 70s. And it was something really high tech because I saw this van with, they were like half cut and opened with the two speakers, and
okay.
in the middle there was the DJ playing. So and there was like this DJ service mic. I remember this, and I said I didn't even know what was that, but I was listening these toons, 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 you know, like the beat, and I'm
Yeah.
like, what is that? I never heard disco, like dance music before, ever. So I come from very small neighborhood, and everybody knows each other, you know, like very old school South Italian place, and you know you will never hear dance music there. And I was like, I like that, you know, like what is, but I didn't understand where this music was coming from. So I was, getting closer, and I saw this figure on that van touching the vinyl. And I remember that I saw that vinyl in my grandma house because my uncle was listening to records, but I didn't understand how this figure, this DJ, was playing this vinyl. So I was like, something in my mind. happened in that moment. I was like, I love this. So I went back home, and the day after, asked to my father, I say, listen, I saw somebody yesterday playing with vinyl, and somebody told me he's a DJ. I don't know what is that, but I want to do that. Can you help me? So he asked to some friends that they know about something about it. It's like, yeah, but it's very expensive to buy a turntable and a mixer. You need a mixer. You need two turntables. And my father said, no, no way. You know, like we were a very humble family. Only my father was working, so impossible. But I didn't give up. So I took my grandma turntable, which was hi-fi turntable from the 70s, and during the summer, that summer, I was helping my uncle, which he has a construction company, to help him. Like I was trying to be helpful. I was not working. I was 11, you know, but I was always around him, and he was like, oh, "What do you need? What do you need, Uncle? You need this. You need that. You need anything." And he saw that. He saw that I was always there every day at his construction company. And at the end of the summer, as expected, he gave me the amount of 500 euros because he knew that I was wanting to be a DJ. I know that because it's a lot of money for a 11 years old boy to get. He gave me 500 euros. That moment was not the euro yet. It was 98, so the euro arrived maybe a year, 2 years after. But yeah, definitely with that 500 euros, I got my belt drive turntable, which was a Gemini, very old style. Was new, brand new. And then the other turntable was my grandma turntable. I was using the finger to get the time code. And as a mixer, I got a third-hand mixer because only with that 500 euros. And as a headphones, I got my mother headphones that she was using for the Walkman. With that set up, connecting it on my stereo hi-fi of the house was like a very normal, humble hi-fi. I bought 2 records. With that 2 records, I played for 8 months, and I learned my way of mixing. Nobody told me how. I really found out by myself, and yeah, this is my beginning as a DJ.
Nice. Do you still remember what were the records?
Yes, Eddie Amador, house music, and also the other one was a commercial record because Florfilla, something like this. Yeah, I still remember the cover.
Such a long time ago.
Long time ago. But you know, my first influence in music actually was a mix of house music that I didn't know that was house music. I didn't know the name of that music, and also kind of commercial of that time, which it was like really was not the commercial of nowadays. It was there was melodies inside, you know, like kind of Eurodance, you know, like so. There were songs, you know.
Yeah.
So this was my beginnings. First approach to dance music was that. So my only way to listen to that music was to go to buy cassette and this kind of DJ Parade, the Hitmania Dance, you know, these compilations, you know. And I really didn't have idea how to look for this music, how to find this music, because I didn't have a record shop in my neighborhood. Later on, when I went to buy the first turntable, it was like a few months later, I found out there was a record shop like a couple of kilometers in the center of my city. But I was not able to go there. I was a kid, you know, imagine
Yeah.
that. So it was really hard for me at the beginning to understand what I was doing, you know. and understand how to get into this music. Nobody from my family knew about dance music. Nobody. So my father was listening Pink Floyd, like Genesis, you know, real music that completely different from what I was loving. So my only way to listen to that was radio. I found the Radio Ibiza was the name, the dance music radio of my region. But I really sweat a lot to understand about DJs. I didn't have internet. My first internet arrived in my house in 2006. So imagine 2005, 6. It's a long time after. So I didn't have internet for years. We didn't have money to get internet in the house. Enough money, We just arrived at the end of the month,
Yeah.
For food, school. It's me and my brother as well. We didn't have money to get these extras. So I was going to this record shop, and in the record shop they were giving for free this magazine. They call it Discoid. Discoid. This magazine had all the technical stuff, like there were price of gear, different type of brands. At the beginning of this magazine, there were interviews of DJs, charts from DJs. So I still remember there were like the first page were the most international DJs. And I still remember some names like Claudio Coccoluto, I don't know, Louis Vega, Hernan Cattaneo, Spencer Parker. I really didn't know who were them. But yeah, step by step, I start to learn and say, okay, I still remember the pictures. I have a very good photographic memory, so I remember their pictures there. And the first approach of a real DJ set from somebody else, like Louis Vega, arrived 1 year after I discovered what was a DJ. So there were like a group of older guys in that square, that famous square of my house, in front of my house. They were listening to something like, oh, this is cool. So I went in by their car and I told them like, what are you listening, guys? I like that. They're like, who are you? You are a kid. Come on, go home. Like, please, they were smoking cigarette, having beer, like, no, I like this. Can you tell me what it is? Yeah, okay, I tell you, but you don't know that. It's Louis Vega. This is little Louis Vega. Hey, I don't know what is this, but I like that. And one of these guys say, you're 12 years old? Yeah, I'm 12. But how do you like this stuff? Yeah, I'm a DJ. I told them, come on, go sleep. You know what I mean? Like, you're 12, you're a DJ. But one of these guys told me, like, this is my cassette. Okay, I give you a present. I have a copy of this, so take this. I'm like, really? Yeah. So this cassette was Louis Vega recorded live in Napoli, a year ago before. With this cassette, I was listening it like in loop every day for months. Really, like this cassette changed my life. I really understood it for first time what you can really do in a mix. Louis Vega is a master, so he was mixing this kind of classic house, deep house, kind of disco. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. This is my first approach of a real DJ set.
That's very inspiring.
Inspiring, very inspiring.
Yeah. So you mentioned like magazines, you mentioned cassette, like so. Those are the things which shape your career, you think, at the beginning, and the most, like the friends around. What
Super
about
important.
the DJs which were living around you, like after you discovered Louis Vega, then how it went further? Because then you were 11 and then you start to grow up.
Yeah.
And like, was your family supporting you?
There was like, from one side, they were supporting me because they saw I had finally a hobby.
Yeah.
Because I was always going to the square, playing football. They were worried that maybe I was growing up and maybe lose the way, because in this kind of small towns, what happens in the street, you grow up, you start to smoke joints, and then something happens, and maybe you can discover drugs, or whatever. So they were worried about that, like every family.
Yeah.
So when they saw me completely focused on music, that was my only passion, they were happy in a way. But then when I started to really grow up, they were not supporting me because I didn't want to study anymore. My dream was to be a DJ, you know. So, but yeah, becoming like talking about how I discover slowly other DJs, stuff like that. Then, you know, like you start to talk with people. And I start like a couple of years after, you know, I met another DJ was living a few hundred meters by my house, but I didn't know. So then I met him, and then we start to play together in the basement. Then he introduced me other DJs from the main city, Caserta. Then he showed me some small clubs. You know, you grow up, you start to
Yeah, yeah.
understand, like, and then it was one of these nights that changed everything. So I was with him, with this guy, and he was resident in a club very close from my house. And that night I went with him. It was a birthday party. You know, it's like this kind of clubs that are open almost every day, and you have to play birthday parties, like all the celebrations. And then the Saturday they did the club night. You know, but he was resident there, and I went with him for a birthday party, and that night he had a discussion with the owner, and I was there, and the owner, just to I think for to to make him feel bad, you know, he told me like, okay, now you leave, you don't play here anymore. He plays. I'm like, what? I like, do you want to play here? You want to be a resident? I was like, yes. You know, that was this kind of days that changed everything. The day after, I went there with my record bag.
So that went pretty fast, like, you know,
I
you
was
just like,
13. I
okay,
was 13 and I became resident.
straight away, like, so that was like in between you had some gigs, just like playing at friends' houses, and
Yeah,
then straight away you become a resident.
Yeah, but I was not alone. There
Yeah.
was also another resident there,
Okay.
a part of this guy that left. Then he came back because they made peace. So we became three residents.
Okay.
We were like a small family, you know, in that club. Everyone had his own figure, and I was the one who was able to play all the styles. So, in a point, after an year or something, I became alone a resident there. The owner was calling only me because I was able to make dance people with commercial music, Latin American, group dance, you know, like, I don't know, tango, everything. I was really playing literally everything. And at the end of the night, you do the last hour with the, you know, house music, most of the times. But yeah, I was there playing because on Saturday, that was the day that we're doing only house music. But during the week, I had to do birthday parties. So for me, I didn't like that. I didn't like that music, but I was able to play it. So the owner was very happy with me. So I was going also to get vinyl of Latin American music, commercial music. The owner was buying these records.
Okay.
I was going to the record shop to buy vinyl because I didn't have CDJs that time, the club as well. I was playing only vinyl. Then the CDJ arrived. When the CDJ arrived in that club, the 100, CDJ 100, I was easier because the computer arrived in my house without internet. Internet arrived after. That computer was a present for my brother, first communion, you know, like in church.
Totally.
So there was the present for my brother. I was using that present to 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 burn CDs and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, like, was the, yeah.
Crazy. So would you say that the owner discovered you, or like, how would you, you know,
He
like,
didn't discover me.
you just,
I discovered myself there, but without that period, was about three years 4 years I was resident there, uh, till 17 years old. That years have been very important for me. That's where I really understood how to read the crowd. And this is what I do today as well. You know, first of all, I'm a crowd reader. I don't know if there are 20 people in front or 20,000, doesn't matter. I always try to make everybody dance, which sometimes is good, sometimes is bad because affects me, you know. Like I want to see everybody having their time. Sometimes I can focus more on my own selection and say, okay, I want to play only what I like. But other times when I play, for example, in the big festivals, I really want to make everybody having their time. So it also affects me in a way because I get more nervous. I always get nervous every time. So this is something that still is coming from that era.
Because we are famous also from your marathon sets, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, how does it work if you're like getting a little bit stressed, but you still need to prepare like, you know, such an amount of hours for people and,
Yeah.
you know, make them, you know, energetic?
But a marathon are different, honestly. I don't
Okay.
play marathon often. I play marathon sets only when I really get connected so much with the place and I feel something magic can happen. Then I decide to do a marathon set there. Or it happens really, I can count in two fingers what happened is that I played a very long marathon set without knowing that I was going to play a marathon set. This happened in Miami at Heart Club that now is closed, but I played 25 hours there.
Oh,
And the Sound Waves in Romania, which is very well known for not stopping the music for 4 or 5 days, so I start to play on Monday morning and I finish the Tuesday morning. I played 26 hours and a half. So that like only 2 times I really played that long. But there was something like really magic, magnetic. You cannot really express this in terms of words, but these moments are, yeah, are unique. You cannot really repeat this, you know. I'm sure I will never play that long again. Also, especially because the moments, the kind of maturity I'm getting now, I prefer to do less and better instead of too much, you know. But marathon set, I still do a couple a year that I schedule. And one of them, which is really amazing for me, is the one in Brett in Amsterdam, which is a very small club. It's for like I think 600 people. It's magic. That place is like really, it's like going in my living room and playing music for the people. That's something I really don't even look at the watch. You know, it's like you can really go and go because this is why I love small clubs. Because small clubs, you really can share with people your knowledge in terms of selection and music digging, you know. Big festivals, I love the energy of the big festival. It's all about energy. But what you can do in 1 hour and a half, what you can do in 2 hours, yeah, you can do a lot, but it's all concentrated on the massive energy because people, they are there for 1 hour and a half, for 2 hours to have their time, you know. And especially I do a lot of closing sets in the festivals because people expect epic way to close a festival. And I'm well known for this kind of, you know, like big closings and about energy, you know. And okay, what is gonna play for the closing track, you know? People always like, so I have this kind of gems that I play during the years and I repeat as well. So yeah, it's kind of my signature, you know. And I love to do both things. So I love to do the energy side and the real good selection side. So this is me. It's a very wide open vision of being a DJ, and this is what happened during these beginnings of the year. You know, I was listening to good house music. I was trying to research tracks I didn't know, and I was playing this commercial music, global music for birthdays. So yeah, I think it's something that always reflects in myself.
Yeah, it's very nice that you still like find the balance, you know, like between big clubs,
Yeah,
small clubs, you know, very intimate places and festivals.
I need to.
It's very
If I don't do that, I will die inside. I really am gonna. It happened for a few times. For example, after COVID, after the pandemic, I came back and like, okay, I wanna play, 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 play. But everything came back so in a big way that I lost the connection with the clubs. So I realized that we were closing only big stages, and I was, after a few months, I start to feel empty. I like, wow, I feel like I'm not enjoying so much anymore what is happening around. Why? The answer was that I look at my schedule, my calendar, I was like, I don't see any club since months. This is insane. I was like, how possible? So then I spoke with my team and they were like, guys, this is not going anywhere. This is not going anywhere. We need to find clubs again. And then I realized that in the same time, a lot of clubs, legendary clubs, great clubs, they shut down because of the pandemic. Nobody support these clubs. So I was like, okay, it's not only me that I didn't go to close gigs in clubs. These are the clubs that are disappearing. So it's a mix of things that is really sadly, it's happening.
yeah, it's happening.
In Italy, all the best clubs are almost over. There are just few left. This is very sad. In Napoli, in my city, we used to have this like a small club and massive clubs as well. Indoor venues. All the indoor venues are closed. So we cannot do like a big warehouse party. We cannot do like this kind of big discotheque club. No, we have to do this open air. It's not the same. Not the same.
Yeah.
The vibe is completely different. So this is something I really recognize that after the pandemic we are facing a big change in our scene, and we need to really see how to get back to the clubs. It's difficult, I believe, because now we are in this mainstream only situation about promoters like to have these main massive events to sell out online in 1 hour because you put on the lineup these big acts, these mainstream acts, and the promoters, most of the promoters doesn't like to work hard anymore, because before if you were going to announce a lineup you were needing a few months to sell the tickets.
Yeah.
And nowadays they like to sell out fast, you know. This is something that I am worried about, because it's um, it's something that should to should to change a little, because it's better to focus on the right music and work hard to get things happening. And I think clubs should to happen in the same way. I mean, like most of these promoters that has these big festivals, they can also invest on clubs. You know, I think it can be like the cherry on the cake, because yeah, it's amazing to play in front of thousands of people, but really good selected clubs. This is something that really makes the difference for the crowd that can attend that, but also for the artist who plays in that, because we can definitely do something more selected there. And this is something I would love to see back again. I can see some clubs born in the last period, but let's see. Let's see. I mean, I think we're gonna arrive in a point of our scene where a lot of things are gonna split. It's already happening. The big mainstream stuff is gonna be on one side, and the big main underground stuff is gonna be on the other side. This is what I feel. This is the. It's gonna take its time to arrive in this point, but I believe that. I mean, for the rest of the world, because I feel some cities like Berlin, for example, it's already like that. You know, there is the club scene, and there are some I see mainstream events that they don't touch each other, but the rest of the world, I think there are a lot of countries that people is still confused because it's people that arrived to see to touch the dance music only via social medias. So they don't really know what is happening in clubs. They are just know to go to these events, take the phone, make videos and post on TikTok and Instagram. But the clubs are what really teach people what is about music. You know, this is what I feel. It always, it always be like this. It will be forever like this. Clubs is really where people can get in touch with the deepest side of the music.
It's so nice that you're thinking about this and like wants to give something back to the community and
I'm
like
trying, but it's not easy. It's not easy because I also love to play both sides, and of course I love to attend both sides and play with all my heart in both sides. But I would love to see more clubs happening. This is something good clubs, because I've played in a few clubs recently, and I have to say they don't invest anymore on sound system. This is something that it's affecting me a lot. Also festival, I have to say, a lot of festival they just make numbers, but you don't go there and you have a proper sound system. There are also a lot of restrictions, I think, because a lot is happening that the governments of the countries, of most of the countries, they don't allow you to get more than 100 decibel, which is like it's annoying because people come to listen to techno, to house, to feel the vibration. I remember when I was going to dance, I was 16, 17, the sound system was killing everything. Everything was shaking. Where is that? I
yeah.
miss that. I want to feel the bass. This is something that I want to feel it again. It's not often.
I think COVID also like kind of
Exactly.
unfortunately
Unfortunately, but so better to do less and better instead of too much and without the sound system. I miss the good sound systems, guys. It's incredible.
yeah,
Even
quality
in
over
Ibiza as
quantity.
well.
Yeah.
Ibiza, which was like the main dance island
Yeah.
for the world, has a lot of restrictions, a lot. So all the clubs has to put the level on 100 dBs, 95 dBs. People is like, what? You know, it's annoying. I'm suffering. I really want my good, strong, heavy sound system back. So yeah,
Yeah, hope we're gonna change something. Let's
hope
see.
so.
You also mentioned your team when you look for support as well
Yeah,
as like some of the members. You got like over 10 years.
yeah.
How do you think that helped your career as well?
Yeah, actually, my team, I work, for example, with my agent since 18 years, since the real beginning. We
Wow.
met in 2006. And my tour manager, which is like, we know each other since I was 11, when I start to DJ. Imagine, Andrea, this guy, we did school together.
Wow.
We did, we were sitting same seat together. And his brother was a DJ. So when we met, I also had chance to go to his house to listen the records of the brother. So the others, also the other members of the team, my other assistant, yeah, everybody, most of them, I know each other. I know them from yeah, from 18 years to 10 years. These people comes from the Napoli techno scene. So I met my agent, Jenny Mosca, in Napoli because he's the promoter of the techno parties that was happening in Napoli. And thanks to his party, I discovered techno because before I was only house. So when I was 16, I attended a rave in the middle of the mountain with a river, and the place was called Old River Park. There was playing Dave Clark that night. Dave Clark, Marco Nasti, no, Billy Nasty, sorry, Billy Nasty, Dave Clark, Billy Nasty, Rino Cerrone, and Marcantonio. So this lineup changed my life again because I was only house. I was listening only New York house music. And a friend of mine, actually Andrea, my tour manager, told me like, hey, there is a techno party. We should to go to there. He was also listening to only house, but a few months before he discovered techno as well. And in these parties with from Jenny. So he told me like, you should to come to Old River. It was Easter. So in Easter they were doing the marathon, 12 hours party from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So I went. And for first time I saw there was no production, no lights, you know, because the house music clubs I was attending was like in the night with the lights, with the vocalist, the speaker was talking, announcing the DJs, like there was like a private zone. That was different. I went there, it was like just this in the middle of the nature with the two big walls of speakers with the stage. There was not a stage, it was a table with this gazebo and no lights, nothing. It was just music talking, you know. That was the techno. And I was like, wow, this is incredible. Like, what is this? You know, like, I never thought there was something like that existing. And in that moment, I'm like, okay, this is what I want to do now. I love it. It's transmitting me so much without any vocalist, without any light, without any visual, nothing. It's like, okay, incredible. I'm gonna do techno. And I met Jenny Mosca there. I was giving him CDs a few months later because I started to get into techno. I wanted to know more about techno. And I gave him CDs, and that was also the period I started to make my first productions. I was 17, and I was connecting with Rino Cerrone, which is one of the Napolitan godfathers of techno, and he was listening to my music. He was happy to connect with me, and he was talking about me with Jenny. Are you sure to make this guy play one day because he's a good DJ? You know, like I was starting to mix techno, and I was doing it very well. So he was like, okay, you're a good DJ. As a production, I was still evolving, you know. I never released something in that period yet, but I was getting there. My first release happened a few months later. But yeah, then Jenny Mosca, we decided to connect, and he made me play for first time in front of 5,000 people, first time ever. I was just playing small clubs in 2007. It was like my first big party in Napoli. It changed my career in Napoli. It was like, so yeah.
That was like another breaking point.
And that moment, I remember I was opening the night. The night was Monica Cruz playing and Alexander. That time Alexander was like the kind of new era of techno, minimal, this kind of funky stuff. He was big. And I remember I opened the night 3 hours. I was super nervous. I was shaking, really. Like, at the end of my set, I put down the volume, and I was not able to look at the crowd because it's so big. I put my eyes up, and everybody was like standing ovation. That was like something like everybody clapping. I was like, what? I still have goosebumps. And that moment, Jenny Mosca came to me like, bro, you made it. This is like Napoli loves you. Like, okay, that was my beginning in Napoli.
Nice.
My beginning in the
Crazy.
Napolitan
Crazy.
techno scene.
You mentioned that also, like, it was the moment about starting your productions.
Yeah. I did already the production at the end of 2006 on Globox Record.
Yeah,
It was
that
my
was.
first release, and there was a remix on this record, which actually changed the game for me as well in that moment because Massimo Di Lena, this guy now is one of the two members of New Guinea. Yeah, I don't know if you know them, but they're incredible. They do like disco and funk. They are from Napoli.
Okay.
So they're really popular now. It's really incredible the change they've done. It's Massimo Di Lena and Lucio Aquilina. And Massi DL in that time, was going strong. He was played by many DJs. His music was really big that time. And he remixed one of the tracks. And that track being played by the main acts that summer. So the story is that on production. So I was trying to make a record, a release. I met this guy Sasha Carassi from Napoli, and he had these Globox records. We met in Caserta. He came. I was playing in a club, and I told him like, "Hey, I'm doing productions," and they were like, "Oh, okay, interesting. Let's connect." So I sent him my demos, but he was like, "Oh, you have something, but you need to work more." So he was behind me, helping me to get in a good quality to finally release a record. And when he realized there was a record there, he told me like, "Hey, you have the record. We're gonna do it. We're gonna release it." I was like, "What?" I was screaming and crying of joy. But in the same time, I finished the high school, and my mother was really annoyed. She was really sad because she told me like, "What you gonna do with your life? You're you are not earning money for about what you do as a DJ. Like you're working hard. I see you going in the studio every day, but what you gonna do?" So I got a lot of pressure from my family about doing something, and it was a hard feeling that period because in a point I did a record release, and I felt I was in the right connection with artists, with promoters. I say something can happen, but I say, yeah, but it's true. Maybe I'm just wasting time. In a point, I start to have doubts of myself. Like, it's true. My mother said the truth. I need to earn something. I'm old now. I'm getting old. I'm 18 now. I need to find my way. And I decided to do military because I didn't want to study anymore. I say I don't want to study. I'm like, I finished the high school, no university. I was really sad because I didn't want to stop DJing and producing. But in a way, I realized like, okay, I'm gonna do what my mother wants. Go to find a job. I say the best job I can do, the easiest one is go to do military 1 year and then go to do policeman like my father. So imagine me a policeman. Oh my god. But yeah, anyway, so I went to do all the checkups, medical checkups. Before go military, you need to pass some tests. So I went to all these type of doctors with my mother. My mother was with me. Like, I'm gonna come with you. I wanna see if you really do this. So she's very like, very organized. Always like she was waking me up because I didn't want to wake up. Every visit was like at 8 in the morning. I was like, okay. She was like behind me. So we done these tests and we send this, document bag closed with glue, with everything. So we went to the military base to send this, and they told me like, okay, thank you for everything. We're gonna call you back around September. This was at the beginning of the summer. So at the end of the summer, around September, yeah, the letter didn't arrive yet. So like, okay, something is happening. I'm not gonna go. I was happy in a way. But then one day I remember I was sleeping. My mother knocked my door and say, "Oh, it's arrived." There was the letter from the military. Like we opened it. My mother started to read. She screamed. She was like, no way, fucking hell!" Like, what happened? I looked at it. Dear Mr. Capriati, we are very sorry, but we cannot accept your request because one document is missing. All the documents are not there. So you should to try next year. That document have been sent. We sent it. For some reason, somebody missed that document and we really sent it. So I told to myself like this is destiny. Something is telling me that this is my destiny. A few months later I was traveling Europe because my record with that massive DL remix started to get popular. Was played by Marco Carola, Richie Houghton, and all the big acts in Ibiza. And I started to travel Europe. Then after 1 year, South America, US, and then yeah, that's the rest is history.
Nice.
This is incredible. Like I mean, I still cannot believe that, but this is what happened.
And then you started going deeper into the production process, and that was
Yeah.
like 2 decades ago, right? You
Yeah,
like
almost 20 years ago.
almost 20 years ago. And how would you like compare your change when you were producing 2 decades ago, 20 years, and now, for
Yeah,
example, as a producer and as a person as
of
well, like,
course, of course.
you had like,
So I believe I am the one of the artists that are. I have lived the change from the old school to the new school, which is my school, not the new actual school, which is completely even more different. But that was the era of the most of the producers were using digital. So I never really used analog in the first years of production. And I have been producing a lot and releasing a lot. The label liked my music. I was releasing a lot of that new wave of funky techno, minimal techno. Let's call it in a way, but we created a movement in Napoli. There was that shuffle, funky techno of Rino Cerrone, Marco Carola, the new generation of Marco Carola, and I am the one who have carried that legacy and bring to the new generation. So I I live the digital era in terms of production. Then I moved from playing only vinyl to Tractor, then from Tractor to CDJs. But I believe what is happening in the last years to me, and especially now, I bought a lot of analog gear, and I'm building again my studio because I had a studio before the pandemic. Then I closed it because I moved back to Italy from Barcelona. I was living there 10 years. Now I moved to Portugal. So I'm like still there, but the way I produce nowadays is much different than before. before I was just producing and releasing. Now it's like I'm never very happy about what I produce if it's not really in details. So more is like I think that's maturity, you know, when you grow up and when you listen yourself and you want more, you want more, you want more. That's what's happening to me. You know, I want more. I want much more quality. I want much more power on the sound, much more analog touch. So, yeah, I believe all these years, it's almost 20 years, it's a lot that I travel, but I think the best is yet to come because I got mature, I think now, the last couple of years. So I think all happened before have been a warm up for me because as an artist, I feel I am in the most exciting moment of my career as really properly as vision, as artist, as somebody who want to create something interesting. This is me now. Before I was just traveling, playing, producing on other labels, of course. I want to create something much more mine sooner. So, yeah, this is the plan. Being a proper artist, and
I believe you are a proper artist.
but
Like,
I
you know.
really want to
Yeah, yeah.
like making paints, you know,
Okay.
even more, even more, even more. So,
Yeah, you were a very productive artist as well. Like, and if it comes like advices, for example, for other producers, you know, like there is always this first release, you know, like how would you, how did you choose first like label? Because like you released on Globox Records, but that wasn't the last time we released with them. So you did
we
you
continue.
continue,
We
like.
continue. We did a couple of more productions with them. Then I met Rino Cerrone, which he had these legendary release records. That's like incredible. He made an anthology of Napolitan techno.
Yeah.
Then with Rino, I released on his label with Marc Antonio on Analytic Trail and
Yeah.
KT Records. Then I met Chris Liebing, and then I released the CLR
Yeah.
records in that era. Was like, wow. Drum Code Records with Adam Beyer. Straight after, with Adam Beyer and Drum Code, we had a really, really good era. We did a lot of years together. I mean, like, they were like, yeah, that's 7, 8 years, 8 years together strongly. Maybe less, but yeah, powerful years. I remember Drum Code. It was the period when Drum Code opened the door to techno, to the world, like in a strong way. I think Drum Code is that kind of gate that put techno more in a mainstream view. Nowadays it's even more mainstream, but it's already almost 10 years that I don't release on Drum Code. But I really love that period of Drum Code we released since 2008, if I remember well, since till 2014, 13, 14. That was my last record on Drum Code, I think. Sorry, I'm a little
Yeah,
confused with
yeah.
dates. It's
Yeah, but
really a
like
lot of
what I
time.
remember, like 2010, you had like 10 EPs
Yeah,
and
it's
your
crazy.
LP as well. So like you
Yeah.
were very productive.
Very,
Like.
very, very productive. I was producing a lot. With Adam, with that period of Drum Code was really, really exciting because we were really like a family. It was and for me, releasing on Drum Code have been an incredible, yeah, milestone in that period because I remember when Drum Code was really techno, and releasing on Drum Code, there was records by only Italian people releasing on Drum Code have been Gaetano Parisio and Marco Carola. So I was like my maestros, you know, from Napoli. I wanted to also do that, and yeah, with Adam we became very close, and yeah, that was really good years. Then I did a few really great remixes with Joy Beltram, Cal Cox, you know, like we did a few things. Then I decided to stop producing, and this is something also I think helped me to arrive where I am now. Have been a little difficult period for me, that one. I was not able to produce anymore. I was really focusing only on playing and taking my DJ set on a next level. And I don't regret actually, but there was a side of me that I really wanted to be productive in the studio. Studio, I think, for an artist is very, very important. It's something that it's therapy for the mind. If you produce a track or a remix, whatever, it's a big satisfaction. It's a self-love, you know. When you make something, it's like a painter that make finally finish a draw or a portrait. So that's the same feeling. I really love to produce, but I was suffering also because I was not able. I faced a little depression that period as well, which I completely resolved now. But that depression also made me understand more about myself in terms of, yeah, where I can arrive, who I am, what is happening to me. You know, it's not only what you see on the when you play on the stage. You know, there is always the human behind every artist, and mind health is very, very important. You know, it's something that I realized during the years. There is a lot of problems about mind health in the scene, in the music scene, and not many really understand how important it is to go to talk with psychotherapists. This is my routine now, a weekly routine. It's very, very important. I also got sober completely 1.5 years ago. I stopped drinking. I don't even have a glass of wine because I was getting into a cycle of weekends and drink every weekend and eat whatever. So that's not good. It's super important. If you want to continue to be a DJ for a long time and produce, you need to get a routine. And when you travel a lot, it's very difficult to get a routine if you don't have the balance to have the good sleep, the good food, decompression, massage once a week, sauna, whatever, sports, whatever you like. But psychotherapy is very, very, very important because if you do these, how I do, in a, I don't stop, and I love it. I love my life. It's a drug for me to be on tour. It's addictive. I love to play. It's my way to disconnect from the reality. It's something incredible. When I finish a DJ set, I feel high. It's like, wow, yes, before the DJ set, I feel like, oh, I'm nervous. It's always like this. So it's addictive. It's my addiction. Being on the stage, produce music. You need to really know how to do this. It's not for everyone. And whenever I felt like, oh, I'm a machine, I'm not a machine. Nobody is a robot. So it's very, very important to take care of yourself, to be able to talk to yourself and what is next in terms of artist and human. It's very important.
Yeah, some people might think like, you know, it's all this like fireworks online or something, but it's a stressful. There are stressful moments behind.
It can be or cannot be. For example, people like Carl Cox, you know, Carl is a is my hero, but he's also a hero as a person, you know. He's always positive. It's I've been doing this for more than 40 years now, and he's 63. He still play around the world. He does 3 4 days tour in America, in South America, in Asia, in Australia. I'm like, wow, you know. Of course, he slowed down in terms of amount of gigs, Maybe he's doing 60 gigs by year now, but he's still there and killing it. This is what I want to do. So I mean, it's very, very important to understand that we are not machines, but the best way to do this for a long time is the approach in, to the music, to the life, and also take some periods off. This is very important. Carl advised, he also told me in the past, when I was playing really a lot, I was playing, I mean, 140, 50 gigs a year. It's crazy. I did this for a couple of years. I said, no more. This is not good for me. But I was like this. I'm talking about 10 years ago. I was in an age I really enjoyed to do this. But now it's like less is more, you know. And Carl told me that, like, Joseph, you should to slow down. It's too much. You know, you've always been like my father, always like being there and advising me like a father. Carl is really one of the most important person for me. But yeah, it's not only what you see on the social medias, what you see on the stage. And also when I was in depression, I was on the stage, I have been very good to hide my feelings because music always made me escape from my private life. You know, I always been delivering it. I never give up in music. I love music more than me. But yeah, sometimes I've been very difficult to be on stage, but I always delivered it. And yeah, yeah.
Great words. Thank you.
Thank you. No, thank you.
And speaking about your label, if already mentioned, and
Yeah.
like if you could introduce, for example, like what's happening right now. There was a relaunching, and
Yeah, so Redimension have been on for a few years. Then I put it in standby because I was not feeling that I was able to continue the label in the situation I was. This happened during the pandemic. I released my album, my last album, Metamorphosis.
yeah,
But then I realized that I, the label needed a new step. I took time to find the way to reorganize my life first, my schedule, my routine, and be able to listen properly to demos and also to be able to be back in the studio to release something interesting. So we are now finally ready to put the label out again. And also we want to open another label. So I want to do the difference between Redimension, proper techno, and the Metamorphosis record label, which is also connected with the party I do in Ibiza, which is called Metamorphosis, because the last years have been a real metamorphosis for me. And this word in Italian is metamorphosis, but in English is metamorphosis. I really like this word because it means who I am in terms of artist now, what happened in the last years to me, and where I want to bring my music now. So it's a metamorphosis in terms of producer, in terms of DJ, in terms of also promoter now, because I have a party in Ibiza at Amnesia on Fridays in the summertime. So people is facing a metamorphosis with me and in the music we are doing. So definitely we're gonna open this label, and also there we wanna produce a metamorphosis only about more house stuff, you know, like more about what is the music I play in Amnesia. So because Metamorphosis in Ibiza has two rooms. One is the terrace of Amnesia where I am headlining, where I play only house, tech house, minimal, this kind of stuff. Proper Ibiza vibe. And then the club room is techno. Techno, also this new, very BPM techno. But this year we have Inira Paganotto, which is doing the hosting in that room. And yeah, it's completely two different worlds. So Metamorphosis record label is gonna reflect more what happened in the terrace of Amnesia. So yeah, this is the idea.
You also released two EPs like with Indira this year, right?
We did this collaboration, which was really fun to produce because Indira is one of these new wave of artists that sometimes it's difficult for me to connect with. But Indira really made me understand a lot more about what's happening in the scene and open also my vision to the new scene. Of course, when I'm in the studio, I've always been very open. I produce stuff that normally I don't even play, imagine. So I like to produce things in studio that really goes away from what I play sometimes. And for example, this release, Mantra, has two tracks. The BPM are very high. One track, Mantra, I started the project and we finished together. It's more melodic, maybe you can hear. The other track, Ananda, Indira started the project and then we finished together.
Okay.
So you can hear the two difference. Ananda is really much more fast and powerful than Mantra. But we really fused, and we connect a lot in the studio. Her vibe, I love her vibe, super sweet, and she made me understand more about what she does, and I like it. Of course, I doesn't mean that I have to play that sound because I'm not able to play that sound at the moment. Maybe you don't know, something happens, but I'm not into psytrance in my DJ sets. But I play the mantra as a pre-closing of some pre-closing track of some festivals, and that's my first approach to something like more fused of techno and psytrance, and people love that. So maybe you never know. I might maybe include some other tracks in my techno sets. At the end, BPMs are higher this nowadays. I also put my BPM a little higher when I play techno festivals. So yeah, it's great. New generation is influencing me a lot. I'm 37, so I think I have a sorry,
Oh, bless you.
thank you. I have a lot of energy still to give, and of course, it's amazing that an artist like Indira, which is like on the top right now in the mainstream, so I think it's a good energy
Yeah,
for me.
that's also interesting way of workflow. Like you started the track, then she finished, and then she started the track, and she finished.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
and you
I
were like
started
doing
the
online,
project
or
and then
okay?
we finished together in the
Ah,
studio.
okay, okay,
Yeah,
understand. Okay.
same. She started that project and then we finished
Ah,
together in the
okay,
studio. So
okay,
it's like the first vision I gave it to the track, and then she did that first
okay.
vision to the track. So it's like, and then we finished it in the studio, like connecting the two worlds. Yeah, it was super fun. Really, that studio sessions have been really funny.
So yeah, you mentioned like about your recent project, Metamorphosis,
Yeah,
and there are gonna be the events, but there was also release, and you said like it's a artistic evolution of
yeah.
you. So what's gonna happen at Ibiza? If you could tell us a little bit more, like how, like, which artists you're gonna involve? Like it's a like combination of what genres, or like
Yeah, that's actually I'm very happy of the lineup of this year because we started this project 3 years ago, and Ibiza for me it's very important as island because Ibiza gave me the opened my career into what I also do now a lot, which is more groovy set, like tech house, housey, um, funky sounds, like really some more vocal. I like that a lot. So Ibiza gave me the light when I was really into techno only. So I opened my DJ career. after I discovered Ibiza, to these two different worlds, techno and tech house and house. So arriving to have a party on the island, for me, it's not something like, okay, I have a party in Ibiza. No, it's a process that arrived there because of energies, because the island, if you leave the island properly, you will feel a vibe which is completely different than other place in the world. It's the island vibe, you know. And I still carry the legacy of people like Marco Carola, I don't know, the old Luciano, Sven, Veit, these people, Richie Houghton, that really, Ricardo Villalobos, that really they create something in Ibiza. Nowadays, the island is very open on many ways. Most of the parties are commercial. Most of the people who does the parties in Ibiza is because, yeah, I have the party in Ibiza, and maybe they sell out the clubs. But for me, it's different. It's a process that of more than 10 years on the island, and people were like claiming to have my party there. You know, like, Joseph, you need your party on the island. We want your party.
That's great.
So I started with just 3 shows on was like a test, you know, 3 years ago. They were really incredible. So they, okay, we can definitely do one more. Last year we did 5 shows, and this year we do 8 shows. But I don't think we're gonna do more next year. Maybe the maximum amount we wanna do is 10 show by summer, which is already a lot. You know, having a residency on the island is not easy. You need a big team there. People raised on the island. People who feel the island, especially with my kind of party. You need to really make people feel what is happening, because the names that are coming, there are a lot of big names, but we don't have this kind of big mainstream names. There are people that really have a connection with the island, you know. This is for the terrace. Then in the club room, Indira is taking care of the lineup, and she invited a lot of modern artists that most of the artists I didn't even know. So when we were doing the lineup, I was studying who they are, and they're like, okay, interesting. A lot of them, they have like tons of followers on social medias, and I didn't even know who they are. So it made me understand that the scene is evolving so fast, and it's great to have the two choices that you can give to the crowd. You know, like, we can give them a proper Ibiza room like the terrace, or a proper modern room like the club room, connected with also some legends. I advised to Indira, for example, Dub Fire is coming, DJ Rush is coming. You know, like, I told her, like, okay, let's find a point of meeting also with some legends, because it's important. So we are really, really making. Paul Kalkbrenner is coming. He's doing the live on the terrace. We did last year. It was a big success, you know, like with the screen, with this big mixer, and you know, Paul is, it's incredible. Like, new artists like Vumet Vu, they're coming. So we want to give like a wide open vision of music. This is also who I am. So Joseph Capriati, it's that, you know, it's like, it's somebody who always open to new sounds, that really loves music in general, and if something give him vibration and emotions, yeah, Joseph Capriati is ready to do that. And this is it. This is the same connection with my beginnings when I was playing the birthday parties in that club. It's the same, you know.
Yeah, that's great. Also, like,
Past is
so,
future.
yeah, and bringing some other artists which always dream about it, and mixing them with the legends.
Exactly.
And I think,
And it's
you
just
know,
the beginning, I think. Yeah, let's see how it goes this year. But next year, maybe we can even add more legends, more somebody even more underground. Because now if we create a brand of party, which is a brand of quality, and people realize that, then definitely I can introduce some even more underground
Yeah.
acts in the middle of these other acts. So yeah,
I think that
that's
would
it.
be great
Yeah,
to mix and have this balance as well and put other
exactly,
artists.
exactly.
And I think you've got also like great experience because you were a resident in the past as well, right, with Marco Carola.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
all this together
yeah, yeah, yeah.
might
Definitely.
gonna bring a lot of things. Cool. And another question, a little bit different. Speaking about Dave Clark,
Yeah,
because
oh, yes,
that's a great
Big Dave.
topic. As we're gonna combine the visuals and collaborate with this release as well of the magazine, we're gonna use photos of Dave on the cover. What's the story behind you and Dave? Like how you guys meet and yeah.
So it's funny because Dave, I remember first time I listened to techno. I told you before, in that lineup there was Dave Clark. So Dave Clark is one of the person who introduced me to techno. First time. First time I listened to techno was there. So I remember the party I was attending in Napoli when Dave was playing. After that first one, there was also other. And Dave always had a very different DJ figure than others. I remember he was always arriving very serious. He was playing straight after his set. He was leaving. So I was like, oh, I was kind of like, with like this kind of big coats, dark. So I remember when I began to play Napoli in the Napoli techno. There were other artists who were kind of worried of Dave. Kind of, we never really connected with him. So everybody was like, yeah, the Red Baron, was his name. So it's like this kind of mystic figure, a legendary techno DJ. He, and was fun because when everybody was saying like, oh, you will never connect with him, and I say like, no worries, one day. So it's funny. I played in Rimini. There was a party in north of Italy, and I remember I was playing after Dave Clark. This party was produced by Jenny, my agent. So I Dave finished. I was very nervous because yeah, playing after Dave Clark is not easy. So I remember I start to play. I say hi. I didn't even shake the hand. I was like, nervous, like untouchable. I start to play, and this I will never forget. With my with the last angle of the eye, I saw a shadow behind. There was somebody there, but I didn't realize who was. So I played about 10 minutes, and I did like this. It was Dave. Dave was still there.
Dancing.
No, no. No. He was sitting on his DJ bag, listening to me. So I'm like, what? Dave Clark is here? He didn't left. So like normally after his set, like straight after he was leaving. So I'm like, oh my God, this is there. And he stayed for like half hour to listen to me. And then he left. The day after, Jenny, my agent, he told me like, Joseph, I got an email from Dave. He would like to have you as his guest on White Noise Radio because he likes your music. I'm like, what? Yeah, this is how we connect. This is how we really connect.
Wow.
So then we start to see each other when I went to Amsterdam or he came to Napoli, and I discover one of my favorite people in the world. Dave Clark is one of my favorite persons ever. We're one of my closest friends as an artist, and he's one of the most loyal person I ever met in my life. Really, he's very, very, very loyal as a friend. He's a real friend. And he's a man of honor, man of word, like really not many. So I can really call Dave like one of my closest people. He's incredible. He's a really gentleman, and I love his sense of humor. He's incredible. I always smile, laugh with him, and we never have a bad time. So yeah, when I saw him on the cover of Key magazine, this is how I discovered Key magazine. I was like, wow, magazine is incredible, and I saw him on the cover. So yeah, this is all connected. This is a
Yeah.
big connection here, strong connection.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we love Dave too. We had such a great experience as
And he loves
well.
photography so much now. Like I think he found in photography his new big passion, and I am actually one, or maybe the first artist, the first DJ who he has done a photo shoot too. We did two photo shoots. One like 2000, maybe 2019 or 18, something like that. And then we did now one that we are using for Key Magazine. He's super happy about this. You cannot even imagine. And we are also presenting this for his exhibition, and he really deserves this exhibition because he's working very hard on photography. I'm very proud of him, and actually, it's a big honor for me that he feels me part of this. So he also told me he's probably used some of my photos for the exhibition, which is incredible. This is a big respect from him, and I will be there. I will be attending this exhibition during the Amsterdam Dance event, and I will be there supporting him. He really deserves support. He's putting a lot of energy in this, and, investing a lot on gear and lens. Yeah, he deserves to go up. He's really good as well on photography. So he's a proper artist.
For sure. Yeah. Can't wait to be there as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, hope we're gonna all see each other in
For
Amsterdam
sure, for sure.
as well. And yeah, one of the last questions, as our magazine, as you mentioned as well, like it's bilingual, it's connected and has roots in Asia.
Yeah.
What do you think? What are your thoughts about this other part of the world?
Wow. I think for me, Key Magazine in Asia has to be there because the quality of the magazine, the amount of page and the quality of the material you use for the magazine, I feel is very Asian. Because in Asia, what I love and I respect so much from some countries of Asia are the quality of the details, the quality of the manufacturing, the quality of the art, the spreading of the art. And Japan, for example, some also region of China and Korea, they really take care of the details and the, the, the expression of the art. Is very, very inspiring for me. So I'm not surprised that Key Magazine is there because the quality is really incredible. And for sure, Asia is one of the most influential places for me. Japan, especially, it's something that really never finished to teach me and to, yeah, to inspire me. Always I go in Japan, I stay extra days. I try to visit Japan as much as I can, but I think in 1 year you cannot really understand everything of Japan. It's like there are so many side of Asia in general that, yeah, you have to be lucky to find out these these sides of Asia because it's something that can really change your life. You know, the way of the collections of Japan, like the vinyl collector. I sell cassette in Japan. When I did my last album, Metamorphosis, I've done a limited edition of cassette as well. And in Japan, we sold that. So
Cool.
imagine, like, this is crazy. It's really insane.
Yeah, I totally believe you. We actually lived in Asia for 5 years, so that's how we started
Ah,
everything over
wow.
there. So
The food, the
yeah,
research of new things is like it's always a discovery.
yeah, amazing. I guess you already told a lot, but we got last question. So what the future looks like for Joseph Capriati? I guess, yeah,
We don't know about the future. I don't know, but what I really know is that the best of me is yet to come. So this is only my, as I feel now, I think it's just the beginning of the best to come. Then let's see.
yeah, we can wait for that. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you
today.
for this opportunity, really.
Thank you.